Okay, so I figured it's appropriate to get started with this right away. Um, I realized, going into this book, um, that I've had it for years, but it affected me. But I, like most people, went right back to where I was before being affected by it. So that's also part of reading this, recording this. And the goal here is for me to understand this as best as possible and try to live by these principles. But I certainly do hope that by sharing it, it affects other people as well. Hopefully this turns out okay in audio. It being Saturday, I had to wait for everybody to stop mowing their lawn, and you can still hear some about in the distance. And they drive by on their motorcycles pretty loud sometimes too. But get started. I did want to. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read the foreword, and then I want to explain a little about what led me to Khandro, what led me to where I am, and just a little bit more information. So, starting here, and this is a foreword by the Dalai Lama himself, and it's short but concise, and it does say a lot, and it reaffirms what I was saying about her unique perspective. We all seek happiness and then shun suffering, but as human beings, we are distinguished from others by our intelligence. If we allow it to be controlled by negative emotions like hatred, the consequences are disastrous. But if we use it positively, we can not only recognize our predicament, but also train our minds and ways of thinking, which enables us to transform ourselves into better, happier people. The four reminders explained here form the bedrock of Buddhist practice. They are intended to encourage us to make our lives meaningful, which we can do by developing a kind heart and a sense of love, compassion, and respect for others. Khandro Rinpoche, the author of this book, is a young Tibetan woman who has had the benefit of combining religious upbringing and training with the modern education, which lends a refreshing contemporary clarity to her explanation. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Let me just frame this a little. I moved to San Francisco and I worked, in a cubicle, a tech company. And I enjoyed it. I didn't make too many friends. They were all that good friends, in the office or whatnot. But I was kind of I like to laugh, and so I made a lot of fun. But during that time, my mother actually was diagnosed with cancer. She had to go through chemo, and she came out to visit me for my birthday, so almost about 2 years ago. And actually, maybe that when she visited would be 3 years ago. She had the short hair, and she was doing better, and it was great. But the entire situation we had to look at as a turning point for her. If you've seen the movie The Shift, like Wayne Dyer, that's a good way to explain it. But second chance. That's her story now, and she's a life coach, changed everything. And I was very comfortable in my apartment in the Archstone Tower in San Francisco, and I liked it a lot. I had a great balcony, I had a great view. I didn't like my job so much. I could have maybe got another job in San Francisco. But there was a moment when I realized that I felt a little too comfortable. I felt that I was working hard at something I didn't like in order to support something that was enjoyable and comfortable, but wasn't making me happy, I guess is the way to say it. not that I couldn't find happiness in San Francisco. I'm sure I could have. But I decided one day, after walking all the way to the beach, through Golden Gate Park. I was very into walking in San Francisco. That I was not gonna stay. I wanted to come back, and I wanted to be home, East Coast. I thought that I would start working in New York, but as it turns out, what happened is I came home and decided, I'm going to start this company. I think actually finding Timothy Ferriss's book, 4 Hour Workweek, while I was in New York City, at Barnes and Noble. I thank Barnes and Noble for having tons of copies of that available, and I'm sitting around trying to find books to read instead of getting a job, and changed everything again for me, and another turning point. But the thing about Khandro is that when I saw her speak, it was about a week after I had arrived, or maybe 2 weeks after I arrived home, and it was just a synchronicity kind of thing. And I saw her talk, and then that's when I got the book, and it just greatly affected me again. And one thing that we're gonna get into that sticks out from that talk, a lot, was this concept that no matter who you are, it's their tendency to get caught up in what she calls a livelihood of elaborations. So, to give you an example, yesterday I was, reading the Wall Street Journal, which is now, this is new, I gotta do this, and now and then I tweet, right? So, front cover, Lance Armstrong, he's got this blood coming down the side of his face. He fell, racing. I didn't even get all the details. It wasn't important to me, but I could see that from my perspective, he was out of balance. I mean, obviously he's out of balance if he's on a car, on a bike, right? But I think that speaks to this idea of a livelihood of elaborations. People can go on and 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 on until it kills them. And I think that what you really want in life is to try and find balance. I think that's the key here. So I think I've wrapped that up enough of blathering. We're at 10 minutes already. So I'm going to let's see. I'm going to skip the editors. Okay, and I'm going to just finish up with the supplication here, and I'll probably make another video today, just to keep them in chunk sizes. And I do want to also say that I don't expect everybody to reply to this. I'm doing this. I'm putting this out there as a timeless thing that people can pick up at any point. And you don't have to have the book right now. I'm going to read a lot from the book. It'll be out there forever, and that's the intent here. But this is extremely important. It's the supplication, and I'll read this. The traditional way to begin a text is to offer supplications and prayers to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It is their teachings that are being passed down to this moment through an unbroken lineage. This transmission is completely pure. By supplicating, we come to realize the tremendous responsibility we have as containers into which the lineage is being transferred. Before receiving instructions that bring the mind to awareness, we have a valid reason to ask our ignorance. We have a valid reason to act out of ignorance. Having received such instructions, each of us is faced with a choice. We can choose to remain ignorant, or we can choose to work hard to develop something beneficial for ourselves and others. May this supplication form the basis for committing ourselves to exert effort to bring this human life and all its endowment to fruition. And that's just under 10 minutes, but consider these videos supplicated and out there forever. And comments, replies, whatever, anytime. a year from now, 10 years from now, as Yoko Ono would say. Bye-bye.